The coat looked ordinary at first, draped over the back of a wooden chair in a quiet corner of the coffee shop. But something about it stopped the Millionaire CEO in his tracks. Maybe it was the way it had been folded with care, or the way it sat abandoned as if its owner had vanished mid-moment. As he reached for his coffee and glanced again, a strange heaviness settled in his chest, the kind that comes when fate is about to interfere with a life that has grown too comfortable. If you believe in silent heroes and second chances that arrive without warning, please like this video, comment, share it with someone who needs hope, and subscribe to the channel. Your support keeps these stories alive. Daniel Whitmore was a Christian CEO in the United States who had built his fortune through discipline, long hours, and an unshakable belief in self-reliance. His days were measured in meetings and metrics, his nights in silence inside a penthouse that felt more like a hotel than a home. He visited the same coffee shop every morning, not for coffee itself, but for the anonymity it gave him. No assistants, no board members. Just a brief pause where he could sit among ordinary people and pretend his life was simple. That morning, the shop was busier than usual. Snow pressed against the windows, turning the city gray and slow. Daniel noticed the coat when the woman who had been sitting there rushed out, distracted and pale, leaving behind her drink, her seat still warm. Minutes passed. No one returned. The barista cleared the table but left the coat behind, unsure. Daniel waited longer than he needed to, then stood and lifted it gently, intending to hand it in. The weight surprised him. Inside the pocket, something shifted, heavy and uneven, against his better judgment. Daniel checked, driven by concern rather than curiosity. What he found changed the rhythm of his breath. Inside were folded medical papers, a small bottle of medication, and an envelope stuffed with worn bills, carefully counted and labeled. Tucked between them was a child's drawing, creased and smudged, showing a woman holding hands with a little boy under a crooked sun. Daniel sat back down, the world narrowing to the quiet table and the coat in his hands. He had signed off on million-dollar deals without blinking, but this felt heavier than any contract. The papers revealed a diagnosis, recent and severe, tied to a treatment plan that required money, time, and help. The envelope held nowhere near enough. The coat did not belong to someone careless. It belonged to someone overwhelmed. He turned the coat over to the barista with instructions to keep it safe and left his card, but something told him that was not enough. The rest of his day blurred. Numbers on screens lost meaning. The image of the child's drawing lingered, stirring memories he kept buried. Years ago, Daniel had lost his own mother after an illness worsened by delayed care. Back then, he had promised himself that money would never again be something he lacked. Somewhere along the way, that promise had hardened him instead of healing him. The woman returned late that afternoon, breathless and shaking from the cold. Panic etched across her face the moment she realized what she had lost. Daniel happened to be there again, as if pulled by something greater than habit. He watched from a distance as relief washed over her when the coat was returned. Gratitude softened her shoulders, but exhaustion still clung to her like the snow outside. Over the next few days, Daniel found reasons to visit the shop at different hours. He learned her name from a barista, Sarah Mitchell, a Christian single mother working 2 jobs while caring for a son with special medical needs. Her life was a careful balance of shifts, appointments, and prayers whispered during sleepless nights. She did not complain. She did not ask for help. She simply endured. Daniel wrestled with himself. He was used to solving problems with money, but this felt different. He feared overstepping, feared offending, feared confronting a part of himself that had grown distant from compassion. Yet the coat stayed with him, a symbol of how easily lives brush past one another without truly seeing. Change came quietly. Daniel arranged support without revealing his identity at first, funding a medical grant through his foundation that covered Sarah's treatment costs and her son's therapy. He coordinated flexible work opportunities through companies he controlled, ensuring stability without charity labels. When Sarah eventually learned the truth, not through words but through patterns she could not ignore, the weight she carried began to lift. Her struggle had carved strength into her, but relief allowed her to breathe. Health returned slowly, measured in small victories. Her son's progress brought light back into their home. Daniel watched from the edges, learning what it meant to give without control, to help without being seen. The experience changed him. Boardroom decisions began to include faces instead of figures. His foundation expanded, focusing not on headlines but on hidden burdens, the coats left behind in ordinary places. He reconnected with his faith not through grand gestures, but through daily acts of awareness, remembering that abundance carried responsibility. Years later, that coffee shop remained unchanged, but Daniel was not the same man who first noticed a coat. He understood now that miracles rarely announce themselves. They sit quietly on chairs, waiting for someone to look twice. If this story touched your heart, if it reminded you that kindness can begin with a single moment of attention, please like the video, share it, and subscribe to the channel. Your engagement helps spread stories that restore faith in humanity. Before the ending, we have one special request. Please comment below and share what small moment in your life changed everything, or what you would have done if you found that coat. The coat was eventually claimed, the chair reused, the day forgotten by most. But for Daniel Whitmore and Sarah Mitchell, that ordinary morning became the point where two separate lives were quietly redirected. Not by wealth, not by words, but by the simple choice to care when it would have been easier to walk away.